Good evening and salutations, my bold and beautiful fans. Uh, I love this show. It seems like this. First of all, you got Eric that is disappointed, and I'm sitting there thinking like, what happened? The last episode we saw, you're good to go. Your ED got cured by Donna, and it's only going to go uphill from here. And when Quinn get down, when Quinn comes downstairs, Eric is disappointed, and I'm like, what's going on? And that's when they're basically snitching, saying like they didn't have sex, they didn't, the magic wasn't there, and she was like, I felt like they were both puzzled, like what happened, like he seemed like he was in a really great mood, and I guess she kind of thanked him for like just being really enthusiastic and just willing to sit there and try after everything that's going on. So she can't figure out what's going on. She can't figure out what went wrong. Unfortunately, the audience can, and man, I'm sitting there wondering some of the jokes that people are sitting there coming up in their heads, and the sad part of this whole thing is that if this was handled better, there would be no need for no jokes. I mean, it wouldn't be as entertaining, but it would be no need for jokes. But well, here we are, and I'm trying not to be a dick. I'm really not, and I am trying not to be um inappropriate. But when Brooke talks to Eric, pretty much Brooke says the same thing that everyone else is thinking about, which sucks because I know a lot of people do not like Brooke, but Brooke is pretty much just like, maybe you don't have a medical condition, maybe it's Quinn. Because let's be honest, you were a hell of a lot more happier, a hell of a lot more passionate before you got together with her. So maybe it's her. Um, and at first I was looking at the whole situation like, I don't know, Brooke, you maybe crossing some lines there. I don't know if that's a good idea. But then Eric doesn't really snap at her like how I assume he would. So I'm sitting there thinking, maybe he knows this. Maybe he knows that Brooke is right. And when Eric talks to Donna, and he talks about how they didn't really do anything last night or anything like that. He was like, he just didn't feel that spark like he did with Donna. And I was like, to be fair, Donna's looking kind of good. I'm not gonna lie, Donna's looking kind of good. I mean, granted, she has a shady history, just like Quinn, and a lot of people that I've seen in like Instagram or whatever, they got their page or whatever. A lot of people are saying like, yo, she is not that much better than Quinn. And since I don't know the history, I kind of gotta assume that they're true, like that they're right. But yep. So this is gonna be really interesting when everything comes out and Quinn finds out that there's really nothing wrong with your man. It's just you. Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see that. So we finally figure out what Sheila's plan is, which by the way was improvised at first when they saw their kids. But then Sheila's like, you know, their whole pretending to be in a relationship will work towards their advantage. Because at some point, Sheila's like, imagine if our two kids got together, you know? Basically, she's saying, like, we're stronger together, And she wants Hope and Finn to become an item. This way, they can have easier access as far as, you know, seeing their kids and their grandchildren and stuff like that. And Deacon is like, what? I believe he used the words, "You're off your rocker," and I'm like, I don't know anyone that actually says that. So, okay, sure, you're. I was like, when you say things like that, it kind of reminds me of Victor from YNR, but he's pretty much like, yo, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to my daughter. Like, she has a family, she has kids. Like, she's not a home wrecker. Another word that I don't really see a lot of people use, but okay, sure. Um, he's like, yo, she's not a home wrecker. Like, this is sick. This is nuts. But Sheila kind of just lets out the crazy, and Sheila's like, no, we're doing this. Okay, we are doing this. Like she really is like vivid, like about like not vividly angry, but like vividly passionate, and it even kind of like freaks out Deacon a little bit. And I'm like, from what I understand, he's not that much better than you. And if he's freaking out about the way you're acting and your plan, oh my goodness, you you are in a whole different league of crazy when the guy next to you has done things that aren't really that, much different than you, is looking at you like you're crazy. Um Now you got Hope that's wondering if the relationship is real. Like why would like maybe they're faking it, maybe they're trying to throw us off. But Finn is just like, well, that doesn't make any sense because they were at the restaurant before us, so they wouldn't even have known about like whatever. If you think that it's fake, it just doesn't really make sense. It doesn't add up. And I guess he wants to be more the optimism, like more optimistic about it. And he's like, I'm not trying to be naive, but I don't think that like they would just fake it. Like, what would they gain? You know, which is, I mean, it's true. Not from the viewer's perspective, but just from the character's perspective. Like, what would Deacon gain? He's been trying so hard to sit there and get hope in his life. Why would he lose that? Why would he throw it all away to sit there and fake a relationship with Sheila? Now, the whole other thing is that they're both worried because, their partner is pretty much just like, well, you're forbidden to sit there and see your mom and your dad, pretty much. Like, they're just really adamant about that. And on top of that, Hope's family is just, you know, is totally against the idea, and it's a lot. Um, Now, Sheila thinks that there's going to be a lot of problems and stuff like that. Pretty much, Sheila is counting on them not wanting to give up on their parents, and it's going to drive a wedge between the partners. And Hope and Finn are kind of worried about that. And here's the thing. I understand that they respect their partners and whatever. As far as like respect them, as far as like, hey, listen, I know that you don't really want me to see my mom and stuff like that, and you're very important to me, so I'm gonna sit there and do this for you. But like, at what point does it become like? Here's the thing, and I get that they're terrible people, but I don't know. I wouldn't feel so. I wouldn't like my girlfriend telling me who I can't see or who I can't spend time with. Like if you don't want our children near this person, fine, I get that. But a grown ass man, who the hell are you sitting there telling me who I can and can't see? Now there's a certain level of respect, but it kind of goes both ways, and I don't feel like Liam and Steffi, especially Steffi, shouldn't be treating them like they're children instead of saying, "Well, you can't go and see them because I said so." And I didn't that. Like it's just something that I just don't like about that. I don't know if it's a control issue or something, but I'm just not really a fan of, especially when Steffi was sitting there talking to her dad, like, "Oh well, I told him not to sit. I told him to sit there and stay away from him, to stay away from her." And that pretty much ends that. Like, oh, okay, excuse the hell out of me. I thought he was a grown ass man for a minute that made his own decisions, but okay, I guess not. I don't know. I just don't like the vibe and the way they're coming across because actually I already kind of just re-saying the same thing, but I think at this point you kind of get what I'm saying. Now, because I did this twice, I almost actually forgot the first time I said this. Is I want to thank one of my lovely subscribers because in one of my videos I was like, oh man, she really kind of looks like Denise Richards. And she was like, yeah, that's Denise Richards. And I was like, wait, that's Denise Richards? Now, when I think of Denise Richards, I think of Denise Richards and my favorite movie of hers. Take a wild guess for a minute. Wild Things. So thinking about that version, and I'm just like, wait, that's Denise Richards. But granted, those movies, I mean, like the movie and the show now is so far apart that I'm just like, all right, I guess that makes sense. But like, and I don't remember if I actually said that in the beginning of the review or not when she was talking to Donna about how, I mean, when she was talking to Sheila, I think that's her name. Hold on. Shauna. When Shauna was there talking to Quinn about, you know, her disappointment in, you know, that they didn't really go all the way. I don't know if I said that in the beginning, so I just want to sit there and say it now. And just double check my notes. I don't know. I feel like that's about it. If I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching us. Came out kind of late, and I really apologize for that. They are still working on my place upstairs. But hopefully, I was talking to my landlord. He said that they should be done soon, which is great. Not just for doing my reviews and stuff, but for also waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning and them just banging away. Always sit there thinking that at some point somebody's going to just drop through the ceiling. So yes, but I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I will see you in the next video.